Good evening, everyone. The doctor is in, and thanks to the Chosen Prime, I'm going to be taking a look at Mastermind Creations Sphinx, also known as Masterpiece Mirage. What I'm going to take a closer look at is the second version of Sphinx. The first version was released a bit ago. The newer version was just now released. It is a lighter color blue than the original, depending on your preference. It does appear, though, that there were some minor issues with the first version that they somewhat improved upon in the second version. It's also designated on the box. The box is, as far as I can tell, is identical to the original by PS-01A, as opposed to PS-01 from the original. So what I'm going to accomplish with this video is kind of give a mini review, a transformation review of the second version of Sphinx, and also compare and contrast the two for you. With the alt modes, obviously this is an Indy race car. The rubber and the tires is very nice, and they appear like very realistic IndyCar tires. And they also do slide off, which some people may not like, although it kind of gives you the option of being in a pit stop and changing the tires if you may. May also be an option future, depending on how well this rubber holds up, to get replacements for tires. Also in this mode, one of the issues I think with the first version, I think you might be able to appreciate there, is that the joints in the front of the tires for the first version are a little loose. Tends to stag, and these tires will sort of splay out on the first version. I think they're a bit better in the second version. It doesn't kind of collapse with light force, anyways. Both versions kind of roll very well, so I don't think there are any issues there. I'll set the first version aside for now. As you know, you can also attach the weapons to the spoiler on either side. There is a tab for those right there, so those can be displayed with weapons. Take those off. You also have the driver in here, which is a sort of translucent blue. It used to be pretty much identical to the first version. You can pull it out, and it's basically just the upper torso and head of a driver there. So for transformation, we're going to come underneath here. This front tire assembly here, there's those two sliding notches there. You're just going to pull those forward like that. Come to the back tires and fold these back. We're going to come to the side panel and untab these on either side, which will allow you to pull these panels out. Fold those up. And then also we're going to lift up the back part of the cockpit like so, rotate it 180 degrees. We can separate these halves and sort of get them separate, and then we can fold this up. And there are notches. There's a notch or tab there that will tab in, as well as on this side. We'll come back around. You can extend the legs and then fold these panels down, and then there is a little tab that will tab into this hole here to kind of lock it in place. Same on this side. We'll turn it around and fold these panels down on the shins, rotate these engine parts down kind of become kneecaps, and we'll rotate this 180 degrees, and then you can separate the legs. We'll come up to the top part here. You can see here that these will become our arms. They're on these slidey joints, which are kind of loose. You can pull them out. They kind of slide out. They don't really lock in place that I can tell. But once you get it all folded and transformed, they stay out there pretty well. For the arms, these panels here are tabbed in. You just got to pull it out, untab it, and kind of rotate it back so that you can rotate the arms, extend the elbows, and flip out these fists. So untab that panel, rotate, pull down, flip out the fists. Okay, so here we're going to take this little panel, rotate it down. There's little gray panels up here that we're going to flip out so they don't interfere with the chest assembly. We're going to take these tires, and they're double jointed, rotate them in like so. Push the front spoiler, or collapse the front spoiler there. Then we're going to take the entire front of the car and flip it down and tab it in here. And there's a hole there and a tab there. Now in the first version that I've been messing with, it doesn't seem to click in very well. It just you kind of have to force it. This seems to go in very nicely. So I think that made an improvement there. Also, we're going to flip up these white side pieces, and then for this chest piece, you kind of can get it into place, but it kind of fits in. You got to get a little tool of some kind, just to stick down in here, just to push it out, like so, and that's the right position. And then finally, the head, which can be hard to get out. I found that if you put pressure on the top of the head here towards the back, you can get it loose pretty easily. And it is on a ball joint. It is a little bit positional. You get a little bit of resistance and the head won't spin, but if you get it in the right position, you can get it to spin completely around. Now, there were some people complaining about getting the head to replace it. You kind of have to get a tool that is kind of a soft, or not a soft plastic, but plastic to sort of, and thin, to wedge in there to get this off, to use the replacement head, which has slightly different facial features. Peg for Life has a good video on how to do that. It is just a little tedious to get that separated. There's a screw, and you can replace that, but I'm not going to get into that. I'll let you go to that video for that. But in general, you know, this figure is pretty tight. The first version might have been a little bit loose, although I think that's kind of a minor complaint, but this one seems pretty solid for what it's worth. As far as articulation, like I said, the head is on a ball joint. It's 360. The shoulders are double jointed, so you get pretty good range of motion there. The elbows are also double jointed. The fists do rotate all the way around, and they have a thumb joint, and the four fingers are on a single joint as well. And it can be a little difficult to get that undone. You might just want to use the gun or whatever to kind of flip that open. The waist will rotate 360. The hips are double jointed, so they have a pretty good range of motion. There's no thigh swivel, but they will, actually there is a thigh swivel, I apologize. And then the knees are kind of double jointed. And there is an ankle tilt. It will not go out, but it will rotate in, which is pretty much the more useful of the ways anyways. But you have a pretty good ankle tilt there. I think this is a solid version of a Masterpiece Mirage. And if you missed out on the first one, I think you should pick this up. This is especially if you like the anime or the lighter color blue. They also made some improvements to the figure compared to the first version. So once again, I'd like to thank the Chosen Prime for giving me this figure to review for you. I hope you enjoyed this review. This is Dr. Prime. Thanks for watching. The Doctor is out.